Graham, good to see you again. Obviously, another international break has been and gone. The last time we had this, you said it felt a bit like a pre-season week, so to speak. What's been the tact? What's been the approach between the prolonged gap between games?
Just like I said, after the Doncaster game, I think we just let the players enjoy the rest of the week's training. No real emphasis on game or any match-related stuff, and then this week we've just sort of picked up from. I spoke to the players on Monday about where we started off pre-season, as in our principles, what we're about, and we're just going to make sure we go back to step one and make sure we got the basics right. We had a bounce game behind closed doors yesterday, so everyone played 45 minutes just to get the cobwebs off them, from the weekend, and then train again today, recover today, ready for the weekend. So I think it was just a little moment just to pause, take stock of what we've done in the first third of the season, and then park it and then progress to the next one.
How important is it for you as a manager to maybe seek counsel from some of your more experienced leaders within the group to, I suppose, from a collaboration standpoint, get their viewpoint on the situation? Yeah,
I think first of all, I think I have to sit back and take stock myself to have my ideas. I don't want to speak to the players, put it on any players before I've got my thoughts in order. So I thought that was important to do that, and then I've spoke to a couple of individuals, but I don't really want to go in. I don't think there's the need to go into this sort of inquest or anything like that. I think on Monday, I think my wife sent me I'm not on any social, so I don't see anything. I apologise to the players if they'd already seen it, but it was I think the Nathan guy put something on Twitter about newly promoted teams into this division in the last 25 years, and we're only two others have only lost two. Yeah. And his last word was perspective. And my wife sent it to me, showed it to me last Thursday when I was still in the mood. I thought I thought that was right, and I just showed it to the players, and I said, look, I've been in the game for a long time, and I have to have this at times reminded to me. I said, so I'm just going to speak to you guys on that perspective. We're a really good team, but let's just take one game at a time, and that's all it is. I think there was a little bit of and I know I was angry last Wednesday, and it was out of order for me. I think I don't think my emotion sort of was justified, to be honest, with what the players had done. So I just needed to acknowledge that with the players on Monday, and make sure we had clear heads going into the work this week.
Yeah. And how has that work been? And obviously you've mentioned the bounce game that you've had, and obviously you'll know the character of these players and how they've been in previous runs, whether positive or negative. So how's that work been for you this week?
Well, look, you say we know the players. We know half the group of players from last season and the season before. But this is a new group, and the start of the season was flying, and then we've had a little pause of draws, mainly in the league I'm talking about only. So then you're learning about the individuals and characters, as we did in the first phase of coaching Bradford City. So it's given me another idea of the personalities, what they need from us, because ultimately we're here to help them. Whether they need some individual sort of clips, a conversation, whatever it is, time on the grass, just repeating certain aspects. So I think it's a bit of an accumulation of all those things, and just taking the game as it is. So all we've talked about is getting our game in the best working order, and understanding that the season has many peaks and troughs, as it did last season. But ultimately we were successful last season, with an obvious target and an expectation around us, which we haven't got this season. So we don't have to look at the end picture right now. We just have to look at the next game and commit into it. That's the biggest thing. I think my anger last Wednesday was less at the result and everything, but knowing what the players were capable of, and actually showed in the first half, and then being flipped. And I know the opposition did bits to affect that, but it was that, you know, and part of me, I'm having this little fight with myself in my head where, well, if I stop expecting the best from the players, then I'm not really doing them any favours. I'm not really helping them. You know, if I'm just accepting whatever comes out, good, bad or indifferent, I don't think that's my job. I don't think that's my responsibility. But it's just, I just need to maybe communicate it in a better way with a perspective of the bigger picture as well. I don't know. But that's something I found out where right now, my expectation comes because I believe in my players. And that's where it is. You know, if I didn't believe in them, I'd just accept getting beat. Yeah. But I don't. I'll look at them all and I know they can all help us win games. So, you know, maybe I just have to accept that that's how I am.
Is that a new experience for you, player or manager, to go through this balancing act, so to speak?
No, I think I've always tried to. No, I'll be honest. I think I was very bull at a gate when I was first manager. You know, not much empathy for things going wrong, or you know, or players not fulfilling whatever. You know, it's very hard-edged sort of thing. And I think over the years, I've had to develop a different side because you know, the youth, and they are young people. They've changed and they expect different things, and they're taught different ways, and they come from different walks of life or different coaching paths, as in through academies and everything. So you have to adapt to. You have to keep your core principles, but adapt how you relate to people and communicate. So I think I've been more reflective on how my message goes in, because I've said it before. I'm here to serve the players. That's it. You know, I'm here for a specific job to help them be better, not help me be better. So I always have to sort of equate those two things, and it's difficult at times. Yeah. So I think maybe not having the game of the weekend gave me the chance just to reflect on, right, let's just take stock and let's have a bit of composure. In
terms of squad picture on the injury front, in what fettle are you going into Bolton? And are you able to welcome back Aidan Baldwin, for example?
Aidan played yesterday, half a game, so that was good. That was a real positive for us and for Aidan. We've been back in today, so there's no ill effects from that. But he has missed a significant amount of time. So, and we look at the fixture schedule that's coming up. It's quite hectic for you know, the November and December periods. So we just have to see how he is on Friday again and see whether we believe he can help us starting the game, being on the bench, or it's just a week too early. And there's a couple of us, Sars the same. He hasn't trained with us. He didn't play any part in the game yesterday, but he has been out on the grass today with a small group. So it was only probably Tilty, I believe, and Nick Powell that not 100% not available for the weekend. Yeah.
How much are you looking forward to the weekend? I know you don't put any greater importance on games in respect to other teams and whatnot, but just given the fact that, you know, Bolton's form for one, but two, the crowd that's expected there, and three, the fact that Bradford City taking 5,000 supporters there. I mean, we've spoken before this season about how everyone's looking forward to certain games, and this one feels right at the top of that list.
Yeah, I think from all those reasons that you've given, I think that is valid to say. It's two teams at top end of League One that have massive backing, rich histories, great support on the day. You know, obviously us being the away team, but 5,000 travelling fans is really significant. So we know it'll be a great atmosphere. So I think our players enjoy that. I know that 100%. I enjoy it. I'm sure our supporters enjoy it. So what's not to like about going there and competing at the best level? You know, I break the games down because once you take all that away, every game is of the same principles. Yeah. You know, pitch, one ball, all that sort of thing. But the you know, the atmosphere in the periphery, you know, the stadium, the level of opposition, all that I know that can differ. But for us to be consistent, we have to know where our consistency lies. But I know there's always a different feeling around certain types of games, and we're really lucky at Bradford that, you know, we probably have this every second week. You know, certainly for the last year or so. Yeah. So I think the players have really adapted to enjoying it and really feeling a real fulfilment from it. So I think it's another great fixture for us to go and show what we're about.
Yeah, and as a group, to base it on previous experiences, naturally, as you say, home support means you get used to that big game atmosphere. Yeah. But can you take confidence from the likes of Cardiff away and then Huddersfield at home, for example, or Luton or Wickham?
Well, the big thing for me, you reel off 4 or 5 games, and we can go back to last season and reel off another 4 or 5 games. So there's a lot of experience in there of these types of games and the profile around them, and certainly I think, but obviously more for this group here is more relevant this season. Yeah. So I think it's all experiences are valuable if you understand them, assess them, and take them forward in the right way. Not take any negatives going forward, but all the positives that you can get from it. And understanding, I think the best players see the periphery, and then when the whistle goes, cut it all out and just see their job to be done. I think we've been really good at doing that this season and last season, to be fair. So I think that's something certainly has to be the case on Saturday against a very good opponent. Yeah,
and just finally from me, away from Bradford City for a moment, but huge night for Scottish football last night. And I know you'll have been watching. Just how big is that for the country, and how important is that a moment for the country?
It's amazing. It's amazing because, look, it's, there's... I obviously watched the game last night, and my son's on the other end of the phone, keep FaceTiming me every time a goal goes in, and this, that, and he was on a slight delay and all that sort of thing. So it was fun that. But watching the game, and I was trying to work at the same time, and I just went, I can't really focus right there. It was too late anyway. But it was brilliant. Going into the 90th minute, and then Ryan was in touch with me and all this, because he knew I was watching the game, and when Scotland scored the third and looked like we were going through, I said that's second only to Sarcevic, 90 plus 6. You know what I mean? Because that's what it felt like. You know what I mean? So it was. It's fantastic. I'm so pleased for everyone. Liam Kelly, who was our captain at Motherwell, part of the squad last night. So WhatsApped him last night, and it's great to see because it's the following that Scotland get is amazing. It's such a big part of Scottish life. The national team. And I've been fortunate enough to play certain nights at Hampden Park, big wins against France and stuff like that. But I think that superseded that because you're qualifying for a World Cup for the first time in 27, 28 years. I actually went to one of the games back in '98 to watch as a fan, before I actually played for Scotland. And I've had my career, it's gone on, and it's another 15, 16 years till qualified again. So it's amazing. It's amazing, it's just to see that and see some faces that I know in that squad, and that will be going to the World Cup. Brilliant for the country, brilliant for those players, and for the manager who's done an amazing job for the last 6 years, two Euros at World Cup now. That takes some doing. So fair play. It's brilliant to see.
Big jumps in the living room, was it, full time?
Well, I had my laptop on my lap, so I was like, so to put it aside there. But it was, it was great. It was brilliant, to see it and just feel that emotion. I remember when they qualified for I think it was one of the Euros. I think it was the first one, 6 years ago, and me and my son were watching it up in Scotland. And the last time actually Scotland beat Denmark 4 years ago, me and my son were at the game at Hampden. So it was, it was just brilliant to see because Denmark were a good team. But it's, I think the Scottish fans have missed those summers when they're on tour. And listen, the World Cup can last for how long it is, but I'm sure they'll be over there for about 6 to 8 weeks anyway. Because they got, honestly, what amazed me when I played for Scotland is we could be playing in the outreaches in Europe, Lithuania and stuff, and they were out there 3 days before. Fully kilted up to the max and all this. They just create a great atmosphere. So they'll be looking forward to it now. And now will be the scramble to get over there, to get the tickets, all that sort of thing. So. It's brilliant for Scottish football and all the people involved.
Thank you, Greg.
Cheers, mate.
We talk about Saturday's game as being a big game, and as you've said, there's been several big games over the last 18 months, 2 years. Are you impressed with how well, particularly the young players, are coping with the added media attention and everything that's coming with the run of form you've had?
Yeah, I've been impressed with all of them because the experienced players as well, because they have a responsibility, because sometimes you can lose big games in the past and that can affect you going forward, as an experienced player, I was saying, and so that can negatively affect you, but I've not seen that in the players, and certainly the young ones, because I remember being a young player and playing in fourth division in front of 2,000, 3,000, or whatever it was. You know, when you did get the odd big game, and when I'm talking big game, I'm talking about 8,000 or 9,000, not the 20s we get or at Bolton. So how they handled it, it's fantastic to see. But I think it's great credit to how they've been brought up, their attitude, and when you see players, regardless of the scenario, just doing what they've got to do, you know they're going to have fulfilling careers because nothing's going to knock them off their stride. There's going to be ups and downs of results and form and stuff, but their mentality is never going to change, and that's where you know consistency comes from. That's where you know progress comes from as well. So it's and the more you can get under your belt as a young player, without a shadow of a doubt, it makes you stronger going forward, and you get into the point where you see it as just business, and that's the best place to be.
And how difficult has it been with a week and a half before the game, since the last game, to keep that sharpness, the match sharpness that all players need when they start full 90 minutes?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Look, we train in quite an intensive way anyway, and like I said, we had the bounce game yesterday, so they all had 45 minutes in that. Look, we've got 20, 22 games under our belt already, so I think the players are in really good shape physically, and we know that from the data anyway. There's been no drop off. It's actually it keeps increasing. So you know that's you know, and then we sort of alter what we have to do in between games because it's all about performance. But the players are in good shape, and I think the atmosphere around our games sort of wipes away any cobwebs anyway. You know, it just brings up the hairs on the back of your neck, and you're ready to play. So I'm sure Saturday will be exactly the same. Okay, mate. Thank you.
So you're saying, Graham, about what you said after Doncaster, and you sort of look back and think, well, perhaps I got a bit too angry at times. I don't know, but I mean, can the players, in a way, do you think they might sort of see it as a backhanded compliment, the fact that because you were so frustrated with their second half, because of, you know, how well they can play, it sort of just reminds them again of the high level you expect from these players and this team with the way they've been playing?
Listen, you have to ask them about that, but I think they've proved it on many occasions. So we've set our bar, we've set our standard. I'm not comparing them to Barcelona or anything. You know, I'm comparing them to us. You know, to ourselves, what we've already produced, what we know we're capable of, what each individual is capable of. So it's not just a blanket thing on the team. It's certain individuals where, well, I know you can do better than that. I know you can be better than that. But I also understand the fluctuation of form at times and stuff like that, and confidence or whatever it is. But I do believe in them. That's the thing, and I know what they're capable of, and it's my job to cajole, to drive, to squeeze every last drop out of them, because I know, you know, managers did that to me as well, or for me, you know, at times. And I look back now, and sometimes they were harsh with me. But you know, if you got a medal around your neck, or you're playing at a higher level, or you become an international or something, then you go, right, that's where that lesson was, and it was because that guy believed in me, and I'm just passing on what helped me and other teammates, you know, in my playing time. But there is a different way of messaging. Like I said, look, if you're not hurt after a defeat, then there's something wrong with you. You know what I mean? It's just about managing it properly, I think. And just reflection on that, I just, it was just that, really. But listen, no harm done. I don't think the players are a group of men. You know what I mean? There's harsh words said every day between themselves, with each other, all that sort of thing. I just thought the break, and I think my missus sent me that message to give me a little bit of just calm down, old man.
And I suppose it's because you're now sort of into the sort of second part of the second chunk of the season, sort of thing. I mean, you're no longer a newly promoted, as in new kid on the block sort of thing in this league, are you? And I think this team has shown enough over enough games to show that, you know, you're in that top bracket because you deserve to be, and you know, there's no reason why you can't produce those performances on a consistent basis. Yeah,
look, there's part of that I agree with. I think you're right that we have showed it, but we've showed it over 15 games. You know what I mean? And that's where I maybe had to check myself, where we are. I know what you're saying, but we are a newly promoted team. It's only 15 games in, and we've got another 30 games to go. You know, in this new level for us as a club. So that's where I had to find the balance. You know,
feel they're sort of proving themselves.
Well, I think we have to prove ourselves in a tough spot. You know, because you're not. if you're winning every game, okay, you've proven you're a good team, but I don't know how much you've proven about your character to bounce back, or your character to play under duress, or your character to play with less confidence you had 3 weeks ago. And these are all the things you have to add to yourself as a professional, and that's what we've experienced with in the first season here, or the first half of the season we had, and then obviously last season. We had tough moments in both those seasons, and come through it on the other side, winning games and ultimately gaining success. So we proved our character as a group through deficits, through defeats, to come back and keep winning. And that's where we're still got to prove ourselves now as a new squad at a new level. So I think that's where I probably was on Tuesday night, that we're a fully fledged top end League One club. We should be doing better. And then on the Thursday I was going, well, we are a newly promoted club, and we have had a very good start, but there's still room for growth and improvement, and actually a little bit of latitude as in driving things. So that's the balance I'm trying to get, and probably your question there summed it up where we are, because we are a newly promoted team, and maybe I'd forgot that a little bit. So but I still want the players to maximise what they are. I still want them to commit to games. I want them to be not afraid to make mistakes. They have to understand that there's risk in everything. Or in every win, there's risk in every success. If you don't want to have risk, you're not going to achieve anything. So that's where we have to get to. And I want them to believe in themselves. And I just felt in the Doncaster game in the second half, I've lost a little belief in themselves a little bit. And but that can happen. So I should have just gone, that can happen. How can I help them going forward? And that's all I've focused on this week, about helping them, understand how good they potentially could be over a long term rather than just one half a game.
And obviously, Bolton are a reminder again about how competitive this league is. I think big club like that, and they've shown that it's not easy to go walking straight back up to the Championship. They've had to battle every single way. So again, it's that reminder that this is a full-on league, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's maybe where the concepts come from. Look, we are playing Bolton this week, and they were an established Premier League club over a significant amount of time, probably over a decade or something, and and they've been promoted out of League Two 3-4 years ago, maybe. I think this might be their fourth season at this level, and it's been difficult to go the next step. So that's where the bigger challenge is. So we just have to make sure I first and foremost understand that, not get carried away, but still care enough about winning and what I believe my players are capable of, what they're capable of as a team to keep driving forward to be successful. But last year, I spoke to Max earlier about it. Actually, we were having a chat, and I remember I think day one of pre-season, we just spoke about we all know why we're here, what we're here to achieve, and then I didn't mention it again for the rest of the season. I didn't talk about the league positions, anything, our ambition. I just always focused on the next game. How can we be our best self? That's all the way through. So I just need to go back a step and be that guy again.
You've been good at moving mountains, Graham. I mean, at the end of last season, in the spring, all the pressure you went up. Start of this season, same again. You've got to sort of do it again now. This next sort of chunk, haven't you? Really.
That's life, isn't it? That's football. If you want to rest on your laurels and look back at what you did 20 years ago, then that's it. But your life's over, isn't it? That's it. So we have to be that team. That each individual has to be that. I think you have to carry the confidence from success going forward, and understanding how you overcome the challenges and the battles that we had. But then you have to consistently prove yourself. I think that's the best place to be honest, because it never lets you relax. You're always trying to gain the extra percentage. So I think that's where we've been really good. We've always been trying to improve each individual, our team, our defensive side, our attacking side, our recruitment, our training ground, whatever it is. Every nook and cranny, we've got to look for room for improvement. And if we maintain that over and over and over every single day, then I believe in a year's time, in 2 years' time, then you're in a better place. But sometimes the pain of defeat lingers, it lingers, and you just have to wash it off. And sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes a couple. Yeah. That's where we are. I think we made good progress on that side of it.
I think mentality is important whenever, but you look at League One and a lot of teams have tasted defeats, and it's how you react, isn't it? Really, the teams that will be at the top at the end will be the ones that don't have react quickly to the bad days, if you like.
Yeah, but there's that, but then you have to have the quality to win these games as well. So it's not. Listen, mentality is massive. You know, my thoughts on that, on the psychological side of it. But you have to have the attributes to win games of football as well. But I do believe we have that, and we have proved that time and time again against good teams. But the psychological side is massive in any walk of life. Yeah. That's how it is. But I think. Sometimes when we get beat, we take it personal, and I think it's good to do that, but then you have to understand. I think that's why that data that my wife sent me gave me a perspective that it's only 2 other teams in 25 years have had a start like us, so that's a good position to be. So we're doing it. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, could be better, but could be worse.
Yeah, I was just thinking, you're coming up against someone you managed in Steve when you were at Fleetwood. And was he sort of a leader? You sort of saw him sort of having a second career in football, and I suppose you see lads here that have got a good chance of that.
Yeah, yes. I think he was our first summer, so I joined Fleetwood in December, and in the following summer, Shuey was one of our first signings and a major signing for us. The target was to win promotion. We looked around for some of the players who had won promotion, captains, and Shuey had won promotion. He'd been a captain and played a really significant part in, first of all, us getting promoted in that first year, and then secondly, establishing ourselves as a League One club. A great lad to work with. I've seen him a few times as assistant. I remember when he won promotion, I met him at the LMA dinner, and it was great to see him and congratulate him on his success as a manager. So you could see he was an authority in the change room with the other players. On the training pitch, always had an opinion, and was a really good player, really good footballer as well. So I think when he went into the coaching side and became a manager, it was one there where myself and Chris were, could see that 10 years ago.